Good morning. Welcome to Satsang. You are always your real self. The confusion is to think you are a quality. You think that you are an experience. And you have to see that experiences go on changing. So you cannot grip that for long. You cannot stop that because the nature of what appears goes on changing. It is time, it is the time and the space. So that's what you can eventually know. So I'm not what is going on changing, otherwise I would not even... What does it mean? There will be nobody to experience all those things. I'm not what is changing. What I am, I don't need to know because I am it, and it's I want to say it's always there, but I don't want to give a concept of permanency as the notion of the time conceives. Yet it's always there. So it's just a confusion which can disappear, as any experience also. What to say more? I have no idea. And in this apparent world, the world of this person, there is not a moment without expressing itself. So that's why probably it is said, wake up doesn't take time. Wake up, suddenly you see whatever could be said about this affair. But in this apparent world, it will always show up as a state. Let it be the state of silence. But then you know it's a state. It doesn't change much for this world, but for the person. And yet, not to ever believe that anything which appears is real looks extremely precious. So, it's your turn now. What do you find out? What would you say? Or what is your doubt? And even if you don't have a doubt, what would you say without bringing a new concept? There is one good explosive. If it doesn't fall into the memory, it says, I am that. The mind cannot interfere here. So he can take some other direction or surrender. It's quite a good explosive to wake up. And you can wake up when you don't take anything with you. You cannot take the sleep with you, otherwise you would never wake up. Anyway, yes.
I love to hear you, and I thank you so much that. Thank you.
If you are happy, I'm happy. Nobody likes to express himself. Or, huh?
I see that sometimes I taste, then I cannot be quiet. I don't know how to express exactly, but it feels more very flat what I'm doing. I cannot really come in to be quiet. I know also it's an experience.
Mhm.
It gives frustration, and
That's part of the
that makes
agitation.
me thinking also about not to be, can be grasping of quiet in that way.
And
That I not can be more quiet, to
mm,
go more in myself.
you know, don't care about quietness. Just
Yeah.
ask who is agitated.
Yeah, I do that also.
No, but you have only to do that. You have not to try to be
But
quiet.
I like to tell you that it gives a feeling of frustration, and that gives more.
But because you think you have to be quiet,
Mhm.
that is a toffee on the way. Ask who is agitated, and then you may see, oh, quietness is also a state not through knowledge, but because you see it, and when you are agitated, you may like less, but it will not be, it will not make you search to be differently. You need years of meditation to have moments of quietness. And I don't give any meditation, so maybe it takes time. But you see, because the point is, if you realize yourself, then automatically you will have a natural meditative moment followed by other moments. Naturally. Because if you are a mouse quiet in the cage, it's not such a big attainment. You are still a mouse in a cage. Yeah. Qui veut bien? Udava?
Oui.
Tu veux bien traduire?
Oui.
Ok.
Non, mais c'est vrai.
Mais ben-
L'inverse est vrai aussi.
Pardon? Oui.
Je dis l'inverse est vrai aussi.
Quel inverse? Comme quoi?
Tu peux être très énervé et
Oui.
avoir atteint quelque chose.
Oh ben, ça, on atteint, tout le monde entier atteint ça.
Non, mais je veux dire, c'était pour reprendre le fait que tu disais tu peux être calme et ne rien avoir atteint.
Oui?
Et je disais tu peux être énervé et avoir atteint quelque chose.
Oui, oui. I will not translate because it's very French. But yeah, okay. Oui, oui.
C'est juste une réflexion sur...
Mais tu dois traduire, tu sais.
Bah, je pense, mais...
Oui. No, it's nice to translate, even if it is short. Everybody likes to enjoy, you know. Oui.
C'était juste une réflexion
It was just a reflection
par rapport à l'idée qu'on se fait de la sagesse.
Oui.
about the idea we have of wisdom.
Et, l'atmosphère chrétienne.
We
En France,
in France we bathe in a Christian atmosphere,
et la sagesse, c'est les saints.
and the wisdom and saints.
Les saints, peut-être qu'ils ont fait des miracles, je ne sais pas, mais en tout cas, c'est des qualités extérieures.
And the saints have exterior qualities.
Et je crois qu'on a tendance à
And I think we have a tendency to
appliquer ça sur comment reconnaître un sage.
Je sais.
apply that about how to recognize a sage.
Very right.
Et on regarde l'extérieur
And we look at the exterior
parce qu'on est
We keep.
incapable de regarder l'intérieur.
Yes.
because we are not capable of looking inside.
No, it's very true. And you know, France is really particularly loving saints. For them, it's the top of achievement. I said always, in France, slowly it started to be shaken, you know. But it's true, you are right. And it was like this anyway. So it's good to hear that whatever appears is just a quality. And we don't need to give more emphasis to a quality than another. It's better to realize what's what, and then, you know, the flow of things is anyway flowing. We don't need to be there to arrange things in a better way or not. Ah oui, pardon. Désolée. And you see books, you know, in France, maybe in other places too, but I was struck, where they put the photos of those they will speak about in the book, and they really put saints beside wise, and it's because for the writer, they say exactly the same thing, they are the same, which my master just showed me, not necessarily by words, but we were visiting everyone who had some impact on people, and then the discrimination gets sharpened, you know, to see what is what. And anyway, it's not a choice to be a saint. You are born with saintly qualities or not, and good luck if the one who is not born with that tries to be a saint. It is really the very dark night of the soul. It will be very difficult. And a real saint will really admit that he is not always a saint. I have just to add that it doesn't mean that they are never free wise men who are saints. It's rare, it's just rare. It's rare. It happens. But there is no gain, you see. If you are realized that you appear as a saint or not, there is no gain, there is not a plus for what is. Yeah.
Je vais dire en français.
Oui, d'accord.
Pour continuer ce que dit Bernard,
Oui.
To follow on what Bernard said,
en fait, on a tous les deux beaucoup pratiqué avant de venir dans une autre voie spirituelle.
Oui.
we both were practicing a lot in a different spiritual way, path.
Mais en fait, en arrivant devant toi,
But when we arrived before you, in front of you,
on s'est rendu compte, je me suis rendu compte que j'avais
I realized that
fait toute cette pratique de 30 ans pour raffiner mon mental, mon ego.
I did practice all those 30 years to refine my mind, my ego.
Et que là, hier, tout a volé en éclats.
Oui.
And yesterday everything went
Quelle
exploded.
chance, hein. Mais il a fallu sans doute ces 30 années
So
pour que ça devienne si naturel d'entendre ce qui est
it
naturel.
was necessary to be able to
Quelle
hear
chance.
what is natural. What a luck.
Rien n'est fait pour rien de toute façon. Nothing is done for nothing. Even if it disappears, it goes away. To take a very classical example, Buddha, you see, Buddha. He did a lot. He went into even fasting so much because he was not the body and this thing, and he went into deep meditation, samadhis, whatnot, and then he saw there was a dead end every time he was achieving something. So it just suddenly set helpless, hopeless, of course. So a total giving up. And then what has always been his real nature got or is obvious then. But one has to give up at once what was looking, what he was looking at. Yeah. Yeah.
Ganga, I have a fear that I fool myself and
That I fall.
I fool myself because it is very interesting because I know very well that for me I can identify myself with a speaker, talker, doer also, and I see that the doer it disappears. And everything disappears, and so there is nobody there, and I have this urge now to say that I want to know myself without a doubt, but
It's up to you not to listen to the doubt or not. You see, doubts may still pop up through habit, but not a long time if you don't, if you are not hooked by them. Is it important to look of any presentation of the mind? What the mind, this poor mind, I tell you, is born, he has a life, and it dies.
yeah.
What can he know about anything else? So, a doubt is a thought, a passing cloud. Or, you say, but who is doubting? You know, there are quite a few tricks to wake up. But you see, even if those descriptions look good, there is nobody there, etc. It's always by comparisons of what was there before. Before there was obviously somebody, and then this I, through some whatever, suddenly disappears, so there is nobody there. But who knows that? It's not even that. What you are cannot be said. Even nobody, the disappearance, all these things. Let's now, we are matured enough to not to confuse this event for it. It's an event. Again. And then is there nobody there when you love to eat and all that? Of course there is somebody there.
Yes.
Ah, then what? Yeah. So give up trying to know. As a person, you are left with somebody and you can be left with nobody. As a person. It's in the movie. Yeah. And all goes on changing, comes back, sometimes. Tell me differently, I want to see. So it makes sense in a way to say there is nothing else than to surrender. It makes sense. Surrender doesn't mean you just again go to some direction of acceptance or whatever. No, surrender is finally no direction. More than that, I cannot really tell. I can tell what it's not sure. But it comes to that. It comes to that. So, what? Oh, we are well together. Yeah? Yeah? Yes. Behind. Hi.
Ganga, it's a very real movie to me.
Yeah. Yeah. To the person, it's very real, sure.
It's very real.
Yes.
And
But what do you mean by real?
well, in this incarnation on Earth, the mind is real to me, and my body is real.
The incarnation means body-mind. It took birth. It is real in the appearance, in the movie. Yes, looks real, sure. You will not see in the movie, but then you can see, but still, in the movie somebody say, oh, I'm not real here. There is nobody here. Some spiritual people do that, but they should go to the mental hospital. In the movie looks real to the person. How come a movie can appear now? Do you know about that?
Well, it's all very real to me.
Okay.
And, you know, I could never say that it's not valid or that any other person's reality is not valid. And
Of course, yourself having a form, other forms are as essential or valid than your form. Of course. And now, what do you do with all those changes? With this same I who was young, now in his flourish time, and then will decay. Who is this one?
who is this?
You cannot deny that when you see that, you speak only about feelings, body, and conceptualization, which goes on changing, and yet you are the same one. You say, I am the same person, but that's the confusion. I am the self, and this body, mind, feelings go on changing. So, it means the self, who you really are, doesn't go on changing. This I never goes on changing. The attribution goes on changing. That's all. That's the famous big enlightenment and realization, which for the mind looks like one of those other notions maybe, but for some others it's a fact. The most precious one could give in his lifetime.
It doesn't seem so complicated, really.
It's not complicated. That's why everybody laughs. Who is this I? Because when you will have my age in the decaying phase, it's so obvious unless you are sick, but it's not my case, so it's a bit more easy probably. But if you are not sick, I, as absolutely not the age of my body, and I cannot identify with the feelings, they go on changing from morning to night. And my mind, okay, he has more quietness now, but when it's not quiet, it goes on changing all the time too. So who is this I? What is this?
Is the mind, though, is the mind a real tool when we are living this experience here? It's a real tool, right? It's not
It's a tool. It's what appears. Yeah, that's the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's life on
Yeah.
planet Earth.
But
In duality.
even in the universe, I guess.
Yeah, so it is real.
It seems real. Yes, it seems real. I no doubt about that. But who are you? You can say, I am this body and all that, but somewhere you have the experience also that I never change. What I call I, but then the confusion is to say I as a person. You are not obliged. What happens is if you see this I, and of course this is your body, you have this body, mind, etc. It goes on changing and still I am the same one. The problem is to say the same person. We should say the same one.
The same one.
Yeah,
That's what
and
I mean.
everybody in the world can say I am the same one.
Yeah, because I don't identify with the person. I don't
No,
identify
no,
with
you
my
are
body.
not, yeah.
I don't identify.
You just drop the person, what happens?
Yeah, it's easy.
It's very easy.
But then the person still has
Yeah, you will
real
have his,
experiences.
yeah, that will continue, of course. I mean, you will even die.
It's like, you know, I feel like somebody and nobody at
Huh?
the same time.
Sorry, I
Like
didn't.
somebody and nobody at the same time, constantly. So it's like a paradox. It's like living a paradox of a being, which I'm comfortable with, and not identifying, but at the same time, you know, when I smell something,
Smell.
or touch something, or see something, or feel something, it's all, okay, I guess it's real to the
It's very real to your body and mind and
body and mind,
feelings.
okay, body and mind,
Sure,
yeah.
of course.
And if somebody throws a brick in my face, that's also real.
You will be wet.
Anyway, okay, thank you. I wouldn't want to identify with that pain, in theory, if somebody did that to me. But this is just an example, okay? Because I was watching a documentary the other day with really, really awful scenes of children and innocent people getting their limbs blown off in Afghanistan. And I just...
We know this. This is the world.
Well,
This
it's
is.
very real to those people.
But I don't say it is not. It looks real to this body mind. If your circumstances, for example, were there, where you saw it's awful, you will suffer. You will suffer like the others, of course. Or you have to go to a mental hospital. I say, if somebody says, I am nobody, and then you don't react or whatever, you know, it says, what I say is for one who suddenly was struck. You know, I will tell you, in the beginning when I was with the master, I loved the subject, but not that I was so sharp that I could whatever. Suddenly it rained on us and we could not protect ourselves. And suddenly I had this experience, it's childish, but just to show you something. And I started to laugh, I could not stop, because I was telling Master, I am not wet, and we were fully wet. But I had the experience that I was never wet. I am not wet. So what happened? I suddenly didn't speak about my body and mind. You see?
Yeah.
So there, you can have those questions. But what is this I? Which of course goes on changing. But then I hear the wise, they say what goes on changing is whatever you can describe, it's body, feelings, mind, who you really are, it's not really it.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it makes sense suddenly, you know?
Yeah. It's only the body, mind, I.
Of
Each
course,
change.
but you see there is nothing wrong with I. It's because when we utter I, we utter I am born, this body is born. Immediately, because of it's like that, we swallow that concept. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong with I. Otherwise, you want to create another self somewhere, what? There is nothing wrong with I. The attributions gives the confusion. But once you know that,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, thanks.
Hi Ganga.
I go back.
Yeah. At the moment I do some healing stuff with the body mind, or with the body, with my body. And I see it sucks me in somehow.
Sorry. And then
And yeah, now I feel sad and but it's like this, how it is. And it touched me also that you said just to surrender to all, at the end what it is, and I cannot change, it comes up, and it's like this, and then there are again times which maybe I'm free of all, or I'm just the self, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, I don't know.
well, if you say it doesn't matter, you cannot change this samsara, no? You cannot change this samsara, dear. Sometimes you have hard circumstances, even when you are free. It can happen. But it is seen as circumstances. It will not stay like that also.
Yes.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, me also, I don't know. Somehow. Yeah, it's maybe also that I talked with a healer, and because I really thought that my body needs healing again, and I see there is progress.
Yeah, okay. Progress, you mean you live in a more easy way?
Yes, and that really some anger came up, and that I really see a lot which is leaving me, and leaving me, I mean leaving the body mind.
Leaving the body mind. Where it goes. Don't accept, huh? Don't accept what he leaves, because then I don't know. I don't know that language. It's too psychological for me. Okay, I agree that if you are sick, good to go to someone who can help if you cannot do it by yourself. It's for the welfare of the body or even of the mind. Okay? So it's called healing. Okay, healing, sure, it exists in this world, and that's good. But you see, of course, I mean, you have to help yourself to have a decent life, not only to suffer. Okay. But there is also a limit of it, no? Okay, so do it because you are stuck probably in something, so do it, okay. But as soon as you can decently breathe, to whom this happened, it was to the body, it was to the mind, to the person I think I am. Am I someone? Just go back to your own, to what is not affected, from where all disappeared.
Mostly it's here. But the body is is sick and wants to heal. Yeah.
No, but I understand.
Mm.
I'm not against those things.
Yeah.
I just say know very well that it's about the person, this
Yeah.
body, and there's nothing wrong to get better. Huh? There are many ways also for that. And you can dedicate moments of, but am I the body in reality? Who am I?
Yeah. But this healer, he said something which I jumped off on, or yeah,
He will
and
say,
it was a doubt, and there is a doubt now.
So speak of your doubt, don't speak of healing. Healing is okay. What is the doubt? What did you swallow?
Yeah, I swallowed really something.
Yeah, but tell it. That is the important thing.
And if I have to throw up now,
What?
what I think,
But I think it's more important than what you said. There is nothing wrong to go to the doctors. Huh? Okay. Okay. So what is the doubt?
yeah. The doubt is, yeah, if this is really truth, if this is really the truth.
What? You refer to what?
Yeah, he said something, yeah, it's not really true, because we spoke about satsang and so on. Then he said it's not really true, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, and I jumped on this, that there is a doubt, that I doubt maybe, yeah, maybe Ganga is not right in all. So this.
You can have a doubt. You want to keep it or
No,
not?
I don't want that shit, really.
Go and see somewhere else and then welcome
No,
back.
No, I don't want this doubt.
Why?
anymore. Huh?
Why? It means it was there before. Otherwise, how can you pick up a doubt like this from somebody you don't even know? It was there before. Go
But
and
I
see
thought
somewhere
it's-
else. Huh?
I thought it's gone now.
It's not. You go and see what is offered somewhere else.
Must I go
To anybody, to go and see what is offered somewhere else in the name of satsang. If it fits you, you are lucky to have found. Otherwise, welcome. Yeah. It is not Ganga's truth or whatever, you see. Somehow is the best I can deliver. But go and see, go and see.
Or is it just arrogance?
Go and see. It's no use to start to arrogance. Then what else? Doubts have to be cleared up. And if it is about me, you have not to be cleared up with me. You go and see. But I welcome you if you come back.
But I don't want to go. Why should I go?
Because you have a doubt. You are not here. If you have a doubt, you are not here. Anyway, you are with your doubt. You know, maybe there is something deeper than that. Maybe you have an idea that you cannot feel so bad if you are real, if you realize yourself. How can you be so bad in this movie? Something wrong there. So you doubt. Maybe it's that. And of course, you see, that's a concept we have, very human, very human.
But I see it's the person who is doubting.
Sorry?
I see it's the person who is doubting. It's
Of course, I mean, then whom else? But you listen to the doubt. You know what saved me? I had a tremendous doubt. Nepali Papaji was dying, so I had no time to go and ask him or whatever. But because I was in satsang, but it was a tremendous doubt. Huh? I immediately heard, don't land anywhere. So I didn't land on my doubt. So you see, you get some tools in satsang. You have to use them. You have to use them.
But this was, I use it, but this was just wrong, and but I see
It's strong because it was always in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
So it's good it's touched.
So it will leave. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Don't forget, whenever you go as a client or as a devotee or wherever, you go to someone where you have faith he knows better than you. So be careful. Huh?
Yes. I have this not with him. No, I have not more faith in him than me. So did I understand it right that I have to go to somebody which I think I have more faith to him than me?
Otherwise, why should you go?
Yeah, you are right.
You go to a healer because he knows better. You cannot heal yourself.
Yeah.
So you go to him. So whatever he will say, that is the mistake.
But I don't go to him for satsang.
Yeah, but look, he couldn't put a doubt.
Yeah.
So the doubt was there before, that's what I say. So in that way, great that you see. That is there, that's something too much. Anyway, I leave you with that stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd just like to say, Ganga,
Yeah.
I love your body mind.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Let me laugh. He's a funny husband. Okay.
I love your body mind,
Ah.
and it's very real to me. And I'm very grateful for the teachings that you pass on.
Oh, but I love the form of my master too. I knew that if I loved that form, it was because I loved most what was expressed from him. So you all love the whole thing, okay. But at least when they die, you see, you are left with the love for what was said. That is never taken away. So some funny thing.
Hello, Ganga.
Yeah.
First, I would like to say I feel very fortunate for being here. This is my first satsang.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bizarre how I have arrived here. But I feel that I've been searching all my life, or from at least my adolescence.
Yes.
I can remember being a child asking myself, who am I?
Really.
But who am I? But who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And this became, there was never an answer.
Yes.
Obviously, life, the body-mind, has had its joys and the suffering.
Yes.
There are times when the searching has maybe been put to one side while you have children and life and manifestation goes
Sure.
on. But then just recently, last year, a lot of turmoil came into my life.
Yes.
And I reached a point of absolute exhaustion.
Yes.
I find it very difficult to even find the words to explain it. And then this year, other things have happened, which again I found myself even more to that point, where I've reached total surrender.
That's what I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Just surrender,
Yeah.
totally.
And again, I find it hard to express, but within that surrender, I hear the freedom, because even though I feel the freedom, but even though this is my first real satsang with you, I've been watching you every morning, more or less every morning, for about 2 months. I've been doing a satsang with you, obviously the videos.
Yes.
And it's as if listening to the other, even though I didn't have any desire, or I didn't know what I wanted to know, and I feel I stopped the search somehow. When I hear the other people speaking, it's as if they're asking the questions and you're answering and giving me answers I didn't even know I wanted.
Yes, sure.
And I think that's why it's so wonderful to actually be here, because I understand now a lot of what you and obviously the other people are saying.
Yes.
And I just feel privileged to.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So you see, all that brings you to satsang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So there is not much to do. Just
there is
just be.
there is kind of a nothingness. I can't
Yeah,
I can't say that I've had an enlightenment,
doesn't matter.
but there was I spent a lot of time on my own, very much with myself. So I'm very quiet normally when I'm on my own, and I was sweeping the floor one day a few weeks ago, and I reached a place of just pure nothingness, and I literally can't explain it.
Yes, you cannot. You will never.
No, and then
Yes.
I continue.
And don't try.
No.
Just
But it's as if I'm trying to catch that moment again.
don't catch.
No, just let it.
Otherwise, you will push it away.
Yes, yes,
So don't make a something.
yeah.
Don't make a something. This is surrender. You see, you don't make a something.
Yeah. So thank you.
Very beautiful. Mm.
I find a strange concept in me. It's to be a good student.
Well, be a good student till it disappears. Maybe,
I
huh?
frustrate.
Sorry?
If I'm not, then I feel frustration.
What do you mean you cannot be all the time? What do you mean?
When I cannot understand, when I feel cloudy, when I feel...
But I told you, you may still feel cloudy sometimes when you are free. But then what? So, at that time, who is cloudy? I speak about what? This mind? You speak about the mind, no? To feel cloudy. So you speak of something. If you can speak of something, are you that thing? Rather than to try that it should not be like this, why don't you say, am I the mind which shows up this way? Are you? Even if you say yes, you will see it's a feeling. Of course, because I sense it somewhere, you will see it's only descriptions.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I have to be more strong. This.
Strong, or just fiery, or love more to follow those indications. See the value of it. You know it, but I mean, see. Don't forget. I mean, and if you forget, who is forgetting just now? Who is forgetting? Forgetting what? It has to invade your life, you see? Satsang. Yeah, it has to invade. That's why at some point I was speaking of solid background. I meant that, you see. It has to... So that in big events, like, you see, if I didn't have that invasion in my life, when Papaji left the body, I would have been overwhelmed by my sorrow. No. I knew it's an extremely big event, but I didn't want to be washed away by an event, because in me, I swallowed enough not to take anything for it. So you have to make your life, yourselves have to become a satsang. That's how I can describe. So that when there are big events, even small, you have your tools. Otherwise you will be washed away. The tools will be, whoops, no more. Oh, I'm lost now. Okay. Nothing to say? Yeah. Not. Something else you want to hear?